Call to order, Town of Prescott Valley, regular town council meeting, November 18th. Welcome, everyone. At this time, I'd like to welcome down Chaplain Dan Brodick, Chaplain Fellowship Ministries. Is he here? This is becoming a pattern, I see. I'm going to make the nod over to the side there. Mr. Legler, please join us in the invocation.
Our Father in heaven, we thank Thee for the opportunity to come together as friends and as citizens and as leaders. We're grateful, Father, for the blessings that we receive that allow us to do so, the health and strength and other opportunities that Thou dost give us. We pray, Father, that Thou wouldst bless all those who participate this evening. We ask this humbly in the name of Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, sir. Please remain standing for the flag. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thanks, everyone. Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Present.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Here.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Here.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Present.
Councilmember Packard.
Present.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Here.
Mayor Polguda.
Present.
We have a quorum.
Thank you, ma'am. At this time, I'll welcome Deputy Town Manager Ryan Judy down to the front for Citizen Academy graduation.
Feeling pretty buff in this uniform here. Need some shoulder pads. Well, we have a long agenda tonight, so I'll be brief. The Citizens Academy is a program we have been running since 2006. The current class, some of them were waiting as long as 2 years because of COVID while we were feeling our way through there. So we appreciate their patience as we work things out. This is the 28th class, and we had a great program with them. We had a great discussion this week ago, a round table about how we can improve Prescott Valley and things they liked, didn't like. So they definitely gave us some ideas on how we can improve our town going into the future. So with that, our participants are receiving degrees in academic citizenry. They're receiving their diplomas tonight. And Gilbert and the mayor are going to help me out, so I'm going to read through their names. When you come up, if you can just stay up here at the front, we'll take a picture at the end. You're welcome to give them a round of applause as we say their names. Doug Allen. Come on, you can clap. Katie Bauman. Bruce Evans. There's Bruce. Trevor Guthmiller. Yeah, stay up here, Doug. Doug. Trevor, are you here, Trevor? I don't see Trevor. Brian Haddad. I know Brian's here. I saw him. Chris and Ellen Hines. Roger, come on down. Charles Leon. Charles. Oh, and Kay. Don't want to forget about Kay. Charles and Kay. Shauna McCagba. Robert Olson. Ann Roper. Bard Schatzman. I don't think Bard could make it tonight. Chris I'm going to say this wrong, Suyanaga. Chris, there he is. Chris. We'll get there. All right, Thomas Taylor. No Thomas. Robin Timon. I know Robin's here. I saw her. Oh, yeah, come on up. We called you guys' names, but you were late. Come on up. This is Shauna and Trevor. Coming up, Shauna and Trevor. Even though you're late.
Round of applause.
Come on. Guys are looking fabulous.
My style. Okay. Now you
We're gonna find a little spot. All right.
John Treffren.
Picture of that.
Okay, good.
John. Kay Washburn. And Martha and Justin Zimmerman. So thank you all for the time that you have spent with us for the past 10 weeks. I always enjoy getting to meet our residents. Thank you for the time that you've sacrificed, and we look forward to putting you to work. I know I already called their name. The Zimmermans. So I didn't want any awkward silence while they walked up to the front here. So thank you once again for your time. Heidi's going to take a picture. She may want you to scoot closer together. Right, Heidi?
What do you think, Heidi? We're doing okay on picture?
Keep going. We're always last.
Very wide. Hey, round of applause. I feel like high school graduates.
Yeah, right?
I can appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan. It was a good program.
All right, moving on to item 5B. Welcome up Molly Horine and Heidi Foster coming up here. Or Heidi, are you coming up for this? Healing Field Essay Winner Certificates.
Okay, we're here tonight to present awards to students who wrote essays for the Healing Field. I think you all are aware of the Prescott Valley Healing Field, which is an amazing project. And students write essays after they've gone through the field, and this is such a wonderful learning experience for them. So we want to honor them tonight. And I would like to ask Adrian Montoya Leon to come forward. Is Adrian here? Okay, I don't see Adrian here, but she was our... Oh, she's coming. Oh, sorry. Sorry, Adrian. And these two students are from Mrs. Cuball's class, the 7th grade at Liberty School. Liberty School has been an amazing school to support the Healing Field. The second place winner is Gentry Rogers. Gentry, are you here? Okay. And our first place winner is Mr. Mayor's 8th grade student, Daniela Torres. Sorry. Okay. Well, they're not here either, but these students did an amazing job on their essays, and we really thank them.
Moving on to item 5C, Student of the Month. Councilwoman Hepperly will be handling this.
The Town of Prescott Valley, in collaboration with the Optimist Club of Yavapai County and Bradshaw Mountain High School, are honoring the following outstanding students for the month of November: Emily Sotelo Estrada and Brock Fringer. We are recognizing these students because of their school and community engagement. They have been nominated by school staff and instructors at Bradshaw. And now let's hear Emily's biography.
Good evening. My name is Emily Sotelo, and I am a senior at Bradshaw Mountain High School. I would like to begin by thanking my business professor, Mr. Hall, for nominating me, and to the admin of Bradshaw Mountain High School for selecting me. I believe that the Student of the Month Award is a great way to recognize the many leaders that we have on campus. Not only that, but you get a really cool Student of the Month parking spot, and it's closer to the gate. At Bradshaw, I can be found in a variety of clubs. For starters, I am the first president of the newly established Future Business Leaders of America chapter, the president of the longstanding National Honor Society, and have been elected by my fellow students as the class president for the 3rd year in a row. In addition to this, whenever I am not in a classroom or recovering due to my ACL injury, you can find me on a soccer field or in a Taekwondo dojo. Now, I know it may seem like a lot, but I absolutely love it. I get involved in extracurriculars at Bradshaw because I want to make sure the school is a welcoming place. I want students to feel welcome to join a club or an activity. Not only this, but, hold on, give me a second. Not only that, but the school is growing in diversity and culture. So I want to make sure that all these students can come together because it will not only benefit the campus, but it will benefit the community as well if all these unique students can come together. And it is and will continue to be my goal to pass down this inclusive mindset to the younger leaders I work with so that they too can continue to create a welcoming culture at Bradshaw Mountain High School. Now, after high school, I am hoping to continue my studies at the University of Arizona or Grand Canyon University. If you have any suggestions as to which one I should choose, I would appreciate it. But I will be majoring in pre-law and minoring in economics. These two schools also have a great study abroad program, and I would love to participate in them. But wherever it is that I end up in life, I want to make sure that I use the skills and the lessons that I've learned in the classroom and in my leadership position to improve my community. Again, I would like to thank my teacher and the administration at Bradshaw and the town council for having me here today. Thank you.
If you get a Toastmasters started over there, she could be the president of that too, because that was unbelievable. Brock, good luck.
I have no No clue how to top that one, but hello everyone. I am Brock Fringer. I'm also a senior at Bradshaw Mountain High School. I would just like to thank everyone for repping the Bears. I am on the football team, and we are going back to
Go
Prescott
Bears.
this Friday to beat Prescott again. Yeah, clap it up. That's what I'm talking about. And I would also just like to thank everyone at Bradshaw and all the administration for everything and all the like great opportunities that they've given me, because the past 2 weeks ago actually, I was elected by the administration and my fellow peers to go talk to all the 8th graders at Glassford Hill, Bradshaw Mountain Middle, and Liberty. And as a senior in high school, I moved here my 8th grade year, and the first week of school, I ate lunch by myself. I was that weird kid at the table all by himself and all lonely, and I had no clue what I was going to do as a freshman, what I was going to do in high school, like how I was going to make friends and anything. But starting now, Bradshaw now travels to all the 8th grade schools and like helps them orientate them and helps them prepare and get ready for Bradshaw. And I was blessed with that amazing opportunity to go talk to all the 8th graders. And I'd just like to thank everyone at Bradshaw and the town council for supporting us Bears at Bradshaw. And I know that as I graduate, sadly, and all the new up-and-coming classes come in, I know that they have an awesome and great community to help support them. And I would like to thank you guys for that. Thank you.
Okay, yeah, that was pretty good. Principal Dahl?
Good luck to me.
Yeah.
You guys look good,
Yeah, we do.
right? How about them Bears?
Go Bears.
7 o'clock tomorrow night, we play there again, just so you are aware. Every time I come here, I get more and more proud of the work that we have the opportunity to do because of people like this. These two are phenomenal representatives, and it's crazy that every single month we get to share the experiences that they provide, not only themselves, but a big piece of these two, both of their nominations had to do with servant leadership, how they look out for other kids. What they hang their hat on isn't about all themselves. While they do amazing things to promote themselves as well, they're really interested in helping others. I couldn't be more proud. Thanks to the both of you for representing us so well. Proud of you.
And now I'd like to welcome up Optimist Club President Butch Miller.
Good evening, everyone. I am Butch Miller. I'm president of the local Optimist Club, and this year I'm also governor for the District of Arizona Optimists. So it's really a pleasure for me to be here to recognize these students and to promote the Student of the Month at Bradshaw Mountain High School. We've been doing this for as long as I've been here and as an optimist, and I think I started in 2013 as a charter member, and it is with pleasure that I have an opportunity to recognize these two young people. I'm going to put in another little plug for some of the things that we do as optimists here in Arizona and internationally. We have 3 contests, scholarship contests. One is for a communications contest for the deaf and hard of hearing. Another one is an oratorical contest, which provides up to, the student can win up to $25,000 in scholarship money. We had one of our local students a few years ago go all the way to international and win $25,000 scholarship money. That's a lot. And you guys keep your ear out, because I'll be meeting with Mr. Dahl and getting information on the essay, oratorical, and CCDHH in the next week or so. So, Emily and Brock, it's a sincere pleasure as club president that I congratulate you on behalf of the Optimist Club of Yavapai County, the town of Prescott Valley, and Bradshaw Mountain High School as the Outstanding Students of the Month for November. At this time, I'd like to present you with your certificate and a plaque that is the Optimist Creed. This is what our philosophy that we try to live by as optimists. And I'm always a gentleman, so ladies first. Emily, it is with great pleasure that I present you with this Student of the Month certificate. Brock, it is also with great pleasure that I present you with the certificate of Student of the Month. Thank you very much. And pay attention when the announcement comes out about those contests, because that's a lot of money. And you're going off to college, you're going to need it, believe me. Thank you all, and have a good evening.
All right.
It might be pretty cool to have you guys standing up with your Bears jerseys on. Same backdrop.
Good backdrop, huh? Go Bears. Moving on to item 5D, Chamber of Commerce, new business. Katie Swan. Welcome, ma'am.
Good evening, everyone. Once again, thank you so much for allowing the Chamber of Commerce to be here tonight. First of all, I gotta say, there's a lot of good energy in this room tonight. Yep. I'm feeling it. Maybe it's the Bear jerseys. Go Bears. So I'm hoping to continue this energy by introducing two new businesses to you guys. The first business that I'd like to introduce to you is Life Force CPR. The owners of that business are Lisa and Jeff. Come on up, guys.
Welcome.
Thanks for having us here. We just came here for, I'm not a good public speaker. I can do better in a classroom. Sorry.
You're doing great.
It's been on our heart to do something that's meaningful in the society. We love people and we love our community. And it's been my dream personally to have a CPR business. I've had friends that have had one in the past and were successful, but for our own reasons, we want to, help out with the community where we can. And so we got our certification with American Heart Association, and we are a mobile business, which means that we come to our clients so they don't have to go to a facility. We wanted to make it easier so that they would actually learn CPR and hopefully save some lives. So,
excellent.
Thanks for having us.
How you doing? I'm Jeff.
Welcome, sir.
So the bottom line is that we are passionate about what we're going to do. It's a career change for both of us. I still live in Phoenix. I've been there for 50 years. But I'm moving up here in about 2 weeks. We're getting married in March.
Good for you.
You're all invited.
You're
so the bottom line is, again, it's something that we believe in. We think it should be taught in schools, actually. Don't forget the person whose lives you save may be a friend or relative. I've known somebody personally that collapsed on the baseball field, and my other teammate saved his life through CPR. So he's still alive today because of that. So like I said, we're passionate about it. We believe in it, and we're excited about it. And so that's why we're here, and we're glad to be here in front of you guys. Plus, by the way, I'm also the new JV baseball coach at Bradshaw Mountain.
Go Bears.
So, there you go. Yeah. So there's a game tomorrow, is that right?
Football
football
is.
game.
Yes,
So
sir.
a football game? Okay, I didn't know that. So I get to meet Clarinda tomorrow, I believe, and go through some paperwork. So I'm excited about that, too. I get to coach with Coach Dino. I'm not sure if you know the staff over there, the coaches, and Coach Brian. So anyway, thanks for having us, and we're excited about being part of Prescott Valley community.
And really quick, folks, how do we get a hold, if someone wanted to engage in?
Website
Let's hear it.
that's available, and you'll probably see our truck driving around. We have signs all over the truck, but it's mostly on the website, and we'd be happy to post that. The chamber, we're members of.
Excellent.
And so if you know of anybody that wants CPR certification, we're here for them.
All right,
So
we'll
that's
keep
the
our
way
eyes
to
out
reach
for
us.
it.
All right, thank you so much.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
it.
much.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
They were actually one of the first new businesses that I got when I started. So it was really interesting to hear it. And the one thing that I thought of when they told me that they were a mobile business is like, if there's going to be an emergency, it's going to be at your location. It's going to be, in your office. It's going to be at your home or your church. So I thought it made a lot of sense that they're going to come to you and teach. So really glad to have them as members. The next business that I'm excited to introduce you guys. The owner's name is Brian Smith. He's the owner of Plum Creek Alpacas. He's got a lot to say about alpacas. They're beautiful animals. He's got a lot of them. Come on up, Brian.
Hello, my name's Brian Smith. I'm one of the owners at Plum Creek Alpacas with my wife. We moved to Prescott Valley approximately 4 years ago. On the way over here looking at property, we saw a sign in Kingman, Arizona, said Alpaca Tours. That was a petting zoo tour. We took a tour, and 2 days later, we bought our first 4 alpacas. They are also here in Prescott Valley. We are now at 52 alpacas. We are the largest breeding alpaca ranch in the state of Arizona. We are a working ranch, and what we're doing for the community is we do educational tours on alpacas. So we're doing agritourism. We have 50 to 100 people a day visit us to do a tour. The tour lasts about an hour. We go into the pens, feed them, talk about alpacas, where they came from, what we use them for, end products like clothing, sweaters, silk scarves, all sorts of stuff. Again, we're a breeding ranch, so we're constantly making babies. We have 9 babies on the ground right now, less than 2 weeks old. So my wife's not here because she's bottle feeding one of the babies. Okay. We also participate in shows across the country. We just finished our fall season, which is the start of the show season. It'll start up again on Valentine's weekend in Texas. We finished, went to 9 shows with 7 alpacas and came home with over 101 ribbons and championships.
Good job.
We do have one boy coming up. He has got a good chance at winning the national championship, which will be in Fort Wayne, Indiana. We're also planning on bidding on the sponsorship for the national show in 2023, which will be in Denver, but it would be a lot of advertisement for our area, our animals here, through the state as well as Prescott and Prescott Valley area. So we're excited to be part of the community. One other real quick thing is on Groupon, we do sell some things on Groupon like our tours. We are the second most popular outdoor activity in the state. The only thing in the summertime that beats us is Phoenix's water park. So we have a lot of visitors coming throughout the state that come visit us.
And sir, if you just want to say where they're located?
We're out in Coyote Springs. Plum Creek Alpacas, you can bring us up on the website under Plum Creek Alpacas. There's a few ranches out there, but we're the one that's doing the tours, and you can come visit us on Thursday through Monday, 9 to 3, and we'll take you on a tour.
And I want to say, sir, just a personal plug. My 6-year-old twins have gone on the tour numerous times, and they enjoy it every time. So it's
Very
like
cool.
the first time they've ever seen an alpaca when they get there. But
Yep. Thank
it's
you.
really, you do a great job.
We'd love to have you out. Thank you.
Thank you again for having us tonight. And go Bears!
All right, moving along. Item 6A, Staff Service Award for Stephen Zurich, Legal Deputy Town Attorney. I believe, Mr. Legler, you're taking this one?
I am. Thank you, Mayor. All right. This is about Stephen Zrake and his 10 years of service. I think he's going to come up, and I'll read this. Stephen came to the town with varied experience in the private sector at the Arizona Attorney General's office and at the town of Paradise Valley. Over the past 10 years, he has been able to use that varied experience to assist the town in several ways and with a number of issues. He serves as the backup prosecutor and does the lion's share of supervising outside counsel and representing the town before hearing officers and superior court judges. When town employees are going to be deposed in civil matters, Stephen is the one who prepares them. Stephen is an integral part of the legal department team. Another of Stephen's particular strengths is his interest in maintaining personal relationships in and out of the town organization. It is rare that Stephen doesn't know something about persons with which the department interacts in civil matters, or someone he can contact who will know something. While Ivan tends to hibernate in his office, Stephen is often out talking with others about how they and their family are doing, or about the latest sports, or about other world events. More than likely, Stephen will have someone in the audience while this is being read who is largely responsible for setting him on a course for a successful life and career. Stephen's mom is the quiet strength behind many of his activities. Stephen has always been a good example of a family member who takes care of other members, including Mom. It is an indicator of the consideration Stephen shows to all the people around him. We look forward to another 10 years of service from Stephen in the legal department.
We'll start off right behind you, Stephen, with Councilwoman Dickinson.
Thank you so much for your devotion and time that you have given to our community, Stephen. I know that you show up at events as well, and you participate in community events, and we're always looking forward to activities that we all share, and we just so appreciate everything that you've done.
Thank you.
I see Stephen at the gym a lot more than at work, which is probably a good thing in my case. But there's probably not a workout that's gone by that he hasn't taken a call on his Bluetooth that he has in his ear all the time. So I know that he's always hard at work, even when he's not at his desk. And we appreciate that and everything that you do for the town. Thank you.
Very much.
Hey, Stephen, thank you for everything you do. Thank you for being honest and caring and legit. I think it's so important for somebody in your field, and I personally really appreciate you. And hi, Mom.
Well, Stephen, you know, when I first met you or got acquainted with you, I'd walk past your office and you'd wave and be friendly, and I thought, man, that guy's a lawyer. What's he doing? Anyway, I know now why. You are such a good example for this community, along with your boss, I guess. Anyway, I really appreciate what you're doing, and keep being friendly. It's kind of cool, man. Thanks.
Thank you.
And yes, Stephen, thank you for taking the fear out of logistics and law that you have to deal with. And you are a very personable person, and I give tribute to Mom for that as well. She has really raised a great son. And you're an awesome person to deal with on a daily basis, just to see in the halls. I haven't had to appear in court for anything, so I guess that's a good thing. But we also know who also shoulders a lot of the workload there, Ivan, so sometimes second chair has a lot to do. So I know what you have been involved in with what the town has come up against, and we thank you for all your hard work and your diligence in getting things done. So thank you very much.
Hey, Stephen, they leave the best for last, okay? I want to thank you first for being a friend. You were one of the first people that came up to me after I got on as the council, introduced yourself. We've had some laughs. You've also coached me a time or two to make sure I stay out of trouble. Otherwise, I'd be going into Ivan's office at that point. So Stephen's taking care of me there. But again, I do want to thank you again for your service that you've done for the town, working with the negotiations originally on the library for the settlement. You worked hard at that. When it gets into negotiations, you're a mean bear at that point, and it's good that you're the bear on our side. So thank you again for that, and again, congratulations on 10 years. We hopefully, Ivan said 10 years, maybe, I don't think that's enough years for you to retire yet, so I think we're going to need to get a few more years out of you than 10, okay?
Thank you so much. Stephen, we've known each other for a while. I've had the pleasure of hanging out with you and your mom on several occasions. And it says a lot what Ivan said in regards to your legal knowledge and what you do behind the scenes. But it also says a lot, also what Ivan said in regards to the relationships that you've created with people throughout the entire state. It's truly incredible, and it's not an easy task to do. And those are like the stats that you don't see. We talk about sports all the time, and those don't show up in the stat book. But what you bring to our town rises us up, and we appreciate what you do every single day. You do an amazing job, and then just how you treat people, and then how your mom has worked into your relationship, and we talk about her. We talk about you all the time, just so you know that, man. Like, all good things, but we talk about you. So it's important, and you are truly what brings us to the level of tip of the spear stuff. So I appreciate you.
Now it's time for me to talk, I guess. I know. First of all, I've given a lot of thought, 10 years. I can't believe 10 years has gone by. I remember the day I came up here. Leah tells the story better than me, but I walked in for the interview. I came up for 3 interviews. Larry Tarkowski apologized about that, but I said, well, it's an important decision for everyone, and it's important. And so here I am, and I just, I made a list of people I started, and I want to thank you, the mayor, and all the council. I have wonderful relationships with all of you, and I think that's very important. You should know this, as a professional, this is my longest I've stayed at a job. I was thinking about that. So in the public sector, sometimes you need to move to grow. And so, we have former Mayor Skoog, all the former town council members. Laura Lee's in the audience, and Mary Mallory was going to be here this evening, but she's not. And of course, Dawn, and we've had great leadership at the town with Gilbert. I feel very close to Gilbert, and Larry Tarkowski was great. Our department's wonderful. We have a great group. We're a great team. I call us for those of you that are old enough to remember Rudolph, I call us the land of the misfit toys. We kind of have the Jack in the Box that doesn't go down, and of course Ivan's our leader, our illustrious leader, and
The lead misfit.
tremendous mentor as a person. I admire his work ethic, and as a person, and his knowledge, and all the nice things that were said about me could be said, probably tenfold about Ivan. So I just really have an ultimate respect for him, and that's so important in the position I'm in. We're a good team. His strengths are my weaknesses, for those of you that haven't noticed, and vice versa. So we're a great team. The rest of our department's wonderful. Ivan, Bob, Carol. Shout out to Carol. I know she's watching out there now. Cindy and Irma. All the department heads are wonderful. Yeah, every one of them. I can't name them individually, but I've met some of my best friends. Are here. Tonight. Neil, and Casey, everyone. I have a lot of good friends here, and that's important to me. I can't thank my family enough. If you guys have touched on my mom's my rock, especially after losing my father at an early age. I was only 8. She raised myself and my older brother and my sister. My legal colleagues, I rely on them a lot. As Ivan knows, I think it frustrates him sometimes. But he still gets his solo cup out and listens to what they have to say. My mentors, like I said, I talked to my mentor the other night. He was getting his 45-year Dean of Students Award at the University of Arkansas, which the other has passed. And of course, my friends that hear my complaints about the cases on hikes and everything and my frustrations. But it's a wonderful place to work. I couldn't be happier. The work is challenging. I tell people at Citizens Academy, every department head will tell you they're critical, but just ask them their top 3 problem, and it'll involve the legal department. And I stand by that to this day. So just ask them. But like I said, I look forward to continued tutelage under Ivan. He's kind of the Tom Brady of the legal field, I think, completing more passes. So, but anyways, again, I just want to thank the council, and really, you're only as good as your case. You're only as good as your client. You're really only as good as your last case. And I think the best thing that I wanted to say. You're not a New England fan, are you? And the Wildcats, what did we win our first game? Our first game. Okay, we'll let you touch on that. I am a wildcat. But anyways, I just wanted to say really honestly in closing that it's so nice to have the respect of my clients. And you earn that respect. And you'll, like I said, you're only as good as your last game. But it's great when people come in my office. I know they don't want to hear what I have to say or how we have to do it, but it's that mutual respect and them going and doing it the way, maybe they don't want to do it, but they understand that we're looking out for the best interest of the town and the public, and that's what's most important. And I look for more continued direction from you, Mayor, and Council. So I have an open door policy. Come on in or go on into Ivan's office, and he'll send you into my office. Either way, you'll get there. So anyways, thank you all. I appreciate it.
All right, moving on. Item 7, council comments. We'll start on the end with Councilman Kinzinger.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The only comment I'd like to make tonight is just, again, as just graduating from the Citizens Academy, I would highly recommend anybody that's never gone through that course, it's a 10-week course, to get a chance to go through it. It gives you a chance to meet the different department heads. You get the chance to ask questions of how the departments are run, and just the other thing, the best part about it is you get to meet new people from Prescott Valley, new friends at the same time. So if you're interested, you need to contact Ryan Judy in the future. I don't know, there'll probably be at least 2 classes next year, maybe potentially 3, but you got to call in to get on the schedule. So I'd highly recommend Citizens Academy.
Councilwoman.
The only thing I would like to say is I wish everybody a healthy, happy, and safe Thanksgiving coming up, and stay safe. Thank you.
Councilman. Vice Mayor.
Good evening, everybody. I want to call your attention to a new document. It's Council Monthly Report. It's on our website. It gives a lot of information on construction, residential, commercial, but also on the police department and Parks and Rec and the library. It's very important. This is our 3rd publication the month of October, so please log on to pvaz.net and check out this wonderful report. Also fresh off the presses are Unlock the Prescott Valley Advantage. It's a document that we're going to use to attract businesses, commercial, yes, and grocery stores. We have a staff person in Cutter Chamberlain who's our assistant to the town manager who's going to get ready to go to International Conference of Shopping Centers soon, and he'll be passing these out, passing out the QR codes so that people know more about Prescott Valley. It's a fabulous document. It shows trips per day on our roads. It shows our sales tax. And this too is available on our website. And then finally, I'd like to encourage everybody to shop locally because we don't have a property tax here. We live on sales tax. So if you need to buy something, please shop in Prescott Valley or order and use your Prescott Valley address because we do get some revenue from some of the larger businesses you might order from.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Hepperly. Councilwoman Dickinson.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. As of tonight, 2 weeks ago, you may have read about my 91-year-old mother being in a rollover accident on Williamson Valley Road in Prescott. We have an incredible law enforcement community here, and as a result of Officer Sean Bray with Prescott Police and also Officer Frost with Prescott Valley Police. They came to my door and notified me of the accident and stayed with me during that first crucial 20 minutes while I gathered my thoughts. And they're so compassionate. I could not have done it without them. They stayed with me via communicating with me with text messaging and telephone calls for the next few days to make sure that everything was good. My mother survived the accident, and she's, as of yesterday, was admitted to Mountain Valley Rehab. We're so very, very grateful for all the people in our community that we have as a support system. And I just want to thank everybody for their phone calls, their emails, their cards, and just their loving support during this last 2 weeks. It's been very, very difficult, but we're both here, and we're both, as my mother keeps saying, God isn't finished with me yet. So thank you so very much.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on, item 8, consent agenda. All matters listed under consent agenda are considered routine by the town council and will be enacted by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items. If discussion is desired, that item will be removed from the consent agenda and will be considered separately. Council, we've all had a chance to review our packet. Now is the time if you wish to remove an item.
I'd like to recommend adoption of the consent calendar by voice vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Okay. Councilmember Kinzinger?
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly?
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
Councilmember Packard?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt?
Yes.
Mayor Palguda?
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Moving on to item 9A, reappointment of Leonard Heinrich, Municipal Property Corporation Board for consideration and possible action. Vice Mayor, I believe you're taking over.
Yes. Is Leonard here tonight?
Sure is. I saw him.
Okay, come. Oh, there you are. Come on up.
Thank goodness he took off his Mets jacket. We're going to get you a Diamondbacks jacket, Leonard.
So Leonard is not only on our Municipal Property Corporation, but he's a VIP in our office. He's a volunteer. And I think you probably helped with the document with the information on what I just held up for shopping center attractions. So thank you for that. Myself, council members Packard and Kinzinger recommend that we reappoint Leonard for a term with a renewal date of November 18th, 2024 to the Municipal Property Corporation Board. And that's my motion.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Vice Mayor Hunt?
Yes.
Mayor Palguda?
Yes.
Councilmember Packard?
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger?
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Leonard, I just want to say that you like the Vice Mayor said, you volunteer up on the 4th floor and you crunch numbers, and you crunch numbers like I've never seen another person crunch numbers. You're truly amazing at it, and it's impressive. Every time you can show the percentage of change on whatever wackadoodle stat we want to have, you can find it, and it's amazing. I just want to say thank you for what you do.
20 years of estimating employment and unemployment statistics for the state of Arizona, and it's a pleasure to work for the town.
Truly amazing. So,
Wait a minute. If I don't get paid, then I'm actually not working. So it's a pleasure to volunteer for the town.
very true, sir, and we appreciate that. Anything else you'd like to add?
No, thank you.
Again, thank you. Leonard, everyone. Item 9B, reappointment of Elizabeth Kennedy, Municipal Property Corporation Board for consideration and possible action. Vice Mayor?
So again, council members Packard and Kinzinger and I recommend reappointing Elizabeth Kennedy for a term with renewal date of November 18, 2024 to the Municipal Property Corporation Board, and that is my motion.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
Councilmember Packard?
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger?
Yes.
Mayor Palguda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt?
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you. Liz, it seems like you have your hand in a lot of different things. I don't know where you find the time to be involved in so many different organizations and groups and volunteering and what you do. So I appreciate you for finding time to help out the town of Prescott Valley.
Could you put the microphone by your...
When I moved here 6 years ago, I came straight here to Prescott Valley.
I'm proud of this town, and I'm proud to serve it. I am like a servant person, so I always give back. I was taught to do that. Life is a blessing, and I've been blessed. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Moving on, item 9C, purchase Antelope Park pickleball court lighting, CIP number P501 for consideration and possible action. Welcome. Bringing out the big guns tonight, huh? We got.
I guess so.
I'm IT.
Welcome, Bobby.
Thank you, sir. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, we're coming to you tonight looking for your support on awarding a contract for pickleball courts. Back in July, when we came to you with a contractor, we got it approved, and then Friday, whenever we contacted them to award it, we were told we could not get the project going till March. Obviously, we stress about that with the end of budget year coming up, and waiting for that to happen usually can run into other issues. If I can get this PowerPoint open, there we go. Pickleball again. With it, we actually ran into a string of good luck. The community had reached out to us and actually asked for a few more amenities to be put into these pickleball courts going into Antelope. And with all the other bids that we were looking for during this time, we actually have a contractor that came in at a good price. And with that, we are running into problems here. There we go. This is the new layout for the pickleball courts that are going to be going in at Antelope Park. One thing that the citizenry was asking for is a little larger playing area, which we were fortunately able to take care of. All of our two courts that will be going out there, they're going to be 128 feet long by 68 feet wide. They will have the same lighting setup, so 12 total lights, 6 on each court, and the interior fencing that the community was asking for as well. What we're asking for is that you guys approve the contract amount as well as the associated budget transfer. And if you have any questions, we're here to answer them at this time.
Bobby, I just want to appreciate you and your staff in regards to making these changes, like almost on the fly, in regards to the feedback we were getting back from the pickleball.
Yeah.
I don't even know what you call them, the pickleball core group of pickleballers, because I go out and I was speaking to probably, I don't know, it was about 20 different pickleball people that were at a court, and when I spoke to them about this, they just loved it. They thought it was just terrific. And even during that conversation, there was actually people from Prescott that were on our courts, and they just loved coming to Prescott Valley. They just thought it was so much better coming to Prescott Valley than heading over to Pioneer Park.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just good to hear. And I mean, to the point where, I mean, a year ago, pickleball wasn't really even a thing here in Prescott Valley, and now we have courts that are used constantly. I drove down Glassford Hill. It was a Sunday night. It was dark, and there was people out there playing pickleball. And I hear stories of people showing up before the sun is even up to play pickleball, and it's just terrific for our community. And I'm glad they're loving it, and I'm glad we're literally doubling the size of our pickleball courts. So kudos to you guys, and I know our citizens are going to benefit from it.
Thank you, sir.
With that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to A, approve purchase and installation of Antelope Park pickleball courts with lighting from Elite Sports Builders in the amount of $484,422, and B, the necessary budget transfer of $134,442 by verbal vote tonight. Thank you.
Can we get a second?
I second.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
All right. Councilmember Packard.
No.
Okay. Mayor Plaguda?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt?
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly?
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson?
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher?
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
That passes 6-1.
Thank you. Bobby, what's your time frame on approval of that, or finished project?
Hoping to have it done at the end of March. We'll be able to get ground broken in January, and then hopefully have courts playable by April.
Excellent. Moving on, item 9D, change order, Fain Lake dredging project, CIP number P496.
I was trying to get a video to open up and show you what we have done thus far dredging the lake, but I'm having some technical difficulties. Eddie and Mark down to Channel 56 put up a time-lapse video, so if you haven't been out there to take a look, the work they've done thus far is actually quite nice. So if we can get that open, that'd be great.
We'll have it on our site, though, if not.
Yes, sir. We'll absolutely have it on our site. With this change order, we were able to have additional funding in the budget right now, and being able to get the additional work done with all the other influx of sediment and material coming down over this monsoon season is why we're looking to get this change order approved and get that work done, make sure that we continue to beautify that lake, that area, and continue to keep the water nice for the fishing habitat and everything else that's associated with the area.
I guess without the video, there's not much more to do, right?
Exactly.
Mr. Mayor, I recommend approval of a change order in the amount of $30,240 to the agreement with Earth Resource Corporation for additional excavation of Fain Lake by voice vote.
I second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Packard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Yes.
Mayor Palguda.
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Council.
Moving on, item 9E, Boys and Girls Club remodel project for consideration and possible action. Mr. Osborne, didn't quite recognize you this morning when I saw you. Suit and tie on.
Dresses up good.
So we are here. We put the project out to bid after we had spent several months working with the architect and with the Boys and Girls Club. We've arrived at a very good design. We put it out to bid, and we came in above what we thought we had originally set aside for the project. Fortunately, we were able to come up with extra funds out of the ARPA money, the American Rescue Plan Act, and we're able to not only finance the interior work, but also the alternates, which is going to be another pickleball court and basketball court, as well as redoing that parking lot that is desperately in need of it. So what we're looking for is approval of our contract and the budget, which is $1,649,000 and $1,649,780 and
I believe there's also someone from the YMCA repping here tonight. Is there? No? Not quite yet. I know Nicole Kennedy couldn't make it this evening. She had prior... Boys and Girls Club. Yes. Come on up. I'm sorry. Did I say...
You said YMCA.
YMCA. I'm sorry. Boys and Girls Club. I apologize for that.
I knew what you meant. Could you say that figure one more
So then you
time?
got to add the 10%. I think you're including the 10%, aren't you?
yes, there's a 10% contingency
Right.
as well.
Yeah.
And so what was the final amount? Was 1,600,000?
1,600,000.
600,
780.
708 or 80? 80. Okay. Thank you.
Sir, welcome. I apologize for that mishap. Any additional to add to this in regards to your guys' point of view?
My name is Tom Toth with the Boys and Girls Club. This project has been a great project for us to take on, and it's going to help with the kids and the youth of the community, not only in Prescott Valley, but the surrounding community as well. It's a very well thought out and projected plan for us. It's going to enable a lot of good programming, usable space, expand our programs for after-school and summer programming. So we're just honored to be a part of this, and thank you for your consideration.
Yeah, this is something for those of you out in the audience and at home that haven't been to the Boys and Girls Club. It's at the corner of Luce and Robert Road. And it is truly something that you need to do. You need to go there, you need to check out the staff, you need to see what the programming is currently over there. And what this is going to do is going to transform that whole building, that whole area, and what they're going to be able to offer the kids of our community. So you please need to recognize that and how important this is. And it's going to set our Boys and Girls Club to be one of probably the best ones structurally in the state of Arizona, I would say, from all the changes and what they're trying to do.
Yeah, the facility we're proposing is a pretty state-of-the-art, and it's kind of, like I said, it's going to really open the windows and provide an elegant space for the kids and just the nurturing for them and create great leaders out of them. So.
No, that's terrific.
I did have one question. You're not going to hurt the one big tree that's up by the front door, correct? It gets to stay, the big tree?
Oh, I don't believe so.
It's gorgeous. Okay.
No trees will be harmed.
No harming the trees.
Right, Bill?
Okay.
One other question, what is the time frame for this to be completed then?
I believe we have 150 days on it. I can't remember exactly right on that. I believe the contract is for 150 days.
Okay, there, thank you.
I have had a tour of the facility.
Yes.
Just within the last couple of months, and I know that it's very much used, and this is going to be an incredible addition to our community, and I'm very excited. I live nearby, and I'm very excited to have this happen. I've contributed to this facility many, many times over in the 27 years that I've lived here, and I'm very happy for this. And I would like to make a motion.
Hang on a second. Does anyone else wish to speak? Vice Mayor?
I just wanted to give a shout out to Nicole Kennedy and her staff, because during COVID, this was a sanctuary for a lot of people, to the extent that during the summer, they didn't really even check the incomes and what have you. If the kids wanted to come, they were able to come. And they cooperated with the DEA on their dance program, which was really important as a protective factor during our illegal fentanyl stance. And so this facility is so desperately needed and important. And I, for one, have taken aerobics there, and it's pretty grody right now. And so this is so, so important and long overdue. And Bill, you hold those contractors' feet to the fire, because the sooner the better.
Now, with that being said, Ms. Councilwoman Dickinson.
I move to approve the award of a construction contract to the lowest response bidder, TR Orr Inc., in an amount up to $1,649,780.
Can I have a second?
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
Councilmember Packard.
Yes.
Mayor Palguda.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
That passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you for showing up. Item 9F, Agreement Last Architects LLC Joint Facility Remediation Project, CIP number F505A, for consideration and possible action. Mr. Osborne, you're still up.
I'm still up. Yes, we had about 6 months ago, we had been in and given a presentation on some of our concepts of how we wanted to make the repairs on the library. That was something that was very well received. Since then, we have gone about trying to put together our RFCA so that we could go out and find an architectural firm that would work with us. We were fortunate, I think, that we did put it out. We only had one architectural firm respond to us, and that was Last Architects. They're here today. Brad and Eric are out there, and we looked over their proposal. We felt like they were a good, solid organization. We had them come out and give us a presentation, which they really showed that they had a good understanding of what we needed to do here, had a good willingness to work with us, work with the concept that we had already come up with. And we felt that they were the people that we should hire to do this. So we have received their proposal and negotiated with them, and we came up with a final proposed amount of $300,255. And that's what we would like to, what do you get, 100 days? I believe was what we had in our, for the design work on that. And so we would like to get this contract approved and get these guys started and get the library take another big step in being the facility it's supposed to be.
Guys, would you like to add anything to that?
No, hi, my name is Brad Lang, co-founder, principal of Last Architects. Eric Sterner, my business partner, is here. We're very excited to be a part of this project. We've been working in the public realm of architecture our whole career, so we know libraries well, we know public buildings very well, and part of why we named our firm Last Architects is because we are committed to making lasting projects. And we know that communities like yours need buildings that represent you and represent the civic nature of this place. And we are very excited to bring this building to a point where it deserves to be, where you're not dealing with issues of water penetration.
No, we're well aware of those, sir.
So we're excited to get started, and we hope we can get your support today.
Excellent. Thank you, sir. Anything else, council?
This does include the upstairs area up on top, correct? Awesome. Okay. With
Looking
that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion. A motion to approve an agreement with Last Architects LLC in the amount of $300,255 for design and construction period professional services for the Joint Facility Remediation Project, CIP number F505A, by verbal vote. Thank you.
Second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Yes.
Councilmember Packard.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Yes.
Mayor Polguda.
Yes.
We have that passes unanimously.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, guys. We look forward to what you can do. Appreciate it. Item 9G, Exhibition Center License Agreement with SunWest HC Inc. for consideration and possible approval. Mr. Judy.
Mayor, Council, as you're aware, back in September, the town purchased what's known as the Exhibition Center and approximately 36 acres surrounding it at the old fairgrounds, what's currently the racetrack. What we are proposing to you tonight is a license agreement with SunWest HC for the area that you see in that crosshatch area. The area that's outlined in blue is the total area that was purchased by the town. A question was asked, why did we select SunWest without going through a public bidding process? And I'm going to sound like an attorney here, or try to anyway. But Arizona Revised Statutes 9241 authorizes the town to sell or lease its property to individuals or organizations. ARS 9402 says any sale must be by public bid, and if it's 1.5 million or more, it actually has to go to a special election. There's no similar requirement if the town is licensing or leasing its property to others, no requirement in ARS or in the town code. We have done this with several other facilities that the town owns, where we directly lease or license it to third parties. The Casa Senior Center, Boys and Girls Club, NACOG Head Start, that's a town-owned building off of Taney Drive. Prevent Child Abuse, they lease the former town hall complex. And right next to us, we lease NAU. We lease the library education wing to NAU. Those were all done directly without going through a public process. It's not always about the return on investment. It's about, needs that the community faces for some of these buildings. These are some of the financial provisions of the license. First year rent would be $100,000 to the town. That increases to $125,000 in year 2, $150,000 in year 3, and then it's benchmarked based on the CPI, so we have an inflation adjuster in there. The town would share 50% of any naming rights. That would be net after construction of any signage, and also allows us a 10% surcharge on any tournament fees or rentals. Other terms in the license, SunWest would be responsible for all utilities, all costs to renovate the facility, anything that is structural in nature. They would be required to get stamped plans from an architect or engineer, and they would be permitted and inspected by the town. They would also be required to complete the parking lot over a 3-year period. The first year they would construct all ADA spaces, and then they would phase in the other portions of the parking lot again over that 3-year period. Liability provisions, these are standard insurance requirements, $2 million for general aggregate, $1 million in the other category, $1 million in the other categories. Those amounts can be adjusted if necessary, and the town will be named as an additional assured on all policies. So how does this fit into our recently adopted strategic plan? I believe this fits 2 categories. One is quality of life. It would add to our active and passive open space for sure. And it would also add to a prosperous community by increasing what we hope would be sports-related tourism by bringing in tournaments for inline hockey and potentially, other sports as well. This is a diagram of what it would look like on the inside. The one on the left of the inline hockey rinks is a little outdated. I'll show you a current one after this slide. There's also proposed a BMX track on the south side of the building. This is the current layout, which I just got yesterday from Mr. Arnold. So you can see the inline hockey rinks side by side, in addition to a cafe type area on the north with lockers on the north side, volleyball courts there on the right, and an additional multi-purpose area as well. Finally, the last time I gave a presentation on this subject, I showed you a picture of my dog. My cat felt left out, so this is a picture of my cat, Angus, laying on its back in a very comfortable position. Any questions?
Questions or comments for Mr. Judy or the applicant? Are they?
Yes,
here?
Mr. Arnold's here if you would like to hear from him.
Come on up, sir. So that picture, Ryan, on the latest picture, is that the building running, are the rinks running east-west with this look?
Looks like.
Yes, they are. So if you look to the far right side, at the top there, you'll see the entry. It's double doors. So that's the north face of the building where the existing road is, and that will be the primary place you come in. And just to give you an idea of some of the things we had previously talked about, you'll come into that entry area and there's a window where one of our employees will be, and then the doorway that has the limited access. You come through that. On the right-hand side is the pro shop, and on the left is chain link with netting. Yes, ma'am.
Can you use the laser pointer?
Possibly.
It's behind it. Thank you.
On top, Ryan, it's behind the monitor.
There we go. Thank you very much. So that is right here is the entry. And as you come in, you'll be able to see to your left across all the volleyball courts into the multi-purpose area as well. And you'll continue down. We've got the study hall, which we are working with the Kiwanis Club right now. They've already partially committed to funding, and we'll know in the next 3 weeks if it will be officially called the Kiwanis Hub. And that's exciting news. We've got the first 7 locker rooms. Then this is an arcade area here. And then you've got the concession stand seating area, some additional locker rooms, some additional training facilities, and then the hockey rinks. When we were here last, we were talking briefly about the dance studio, and we're expecting to receive their proposal tomorrow, which we'll be forwarding on to the town for consideration, and they're looking at roughly 3,500 square feet in this corner of the building. And they'll have their own entrance right there. And then the BMX track and potential football field are going to be going to the south of the building here. We were just approached by a program that would like to facilitate a football field, and there's been quite a bit of demand on social media from some of the local organizations. So we're looking at the ability to add that as well.
Councilwoman Hepperly?
So your locker rooms, are those like individual change stalls? Is that how that's set up?
So this is actually set up for teams, but an individual can also utilize them if they're not assigned during a specific activity time. If you are part of our in-house programs that travel, this corner here is actually going to be dedicated to those participants. So this will be kind of more like a clubhouse / locker room.
So I guess I just can't visualize the size. So like how many people could you fit into one of those locker rooms?
Those are 10 by 20, so they're 200 square feet.
Okay.
And you can fit a full hockey team with all of their gear.
Okay.
Most facilities that we go to don't have enough locker rooms, and so we actually have 11, and that just exceeds what we need so that we can keep some locker rooms available for some of the other activities that are going on. While we call them volleyball courts, what divides these are nets that can be retracted. And there's approximately 14,000 square feet of sport court here that can be used in numerous configurations. The kids have been asking for a dodgeball league. We can do that here. There's just so much flexibility with the way that this is laid out. And Stroh Architecture, local firm here that the town's worked with, has been kind enough to donate all of their design services as well as the MP&Es, and met today with our civil engineer. And it's really, the last 2 months have been fantastic. A lot of community support. We just picked up a $50,000 donation check last week and are continuing hard on finishing out that fundraising, and are really looking forward to starting construction on the 1st.
Vice Mayor?
So a couple questions. You're going to join the chamber.
Already did.
Okay, cool. Can we have MapForce information out there on racks?
Absolutely.
Okay, cool. And the hockey area, can it be used for anything else other than hockey?
Yes, so both rinks are sport court. The one here that you see is what's called Mataflex. So it's a little bit different style of sport court. The one that's on this here is called Ice Court. And so they do have a little bit of a different texture to them. But both rinks are able to be used for indoor soccer, for volleyball. We can also set up, as an example, the boxing club that's coming into the building. If we wanted to have an event, they could set a ring up in the middle here and have seating all the way around it. The futsal, which is soccer on sport court, as well as indoor turf soccer, we're able, with the rink on the left side, to roll out a turf field. So not only can we do soccer, but we can do flag football when it's freezing outside, and other related sports. And then here in the multi-purpose area, we're also going to have the ability to roll out a turf training area as well.
I love the study hall. You know, I've been supportive of that since day one. How do we donate or become a member or founding or whatever you're going to do?
Absolutely. So assuming that our agreement tonight is approved, we are starting construction on the 1st. We're going to have a small groundbreaking. Really looking forward to the ribbon cutting. And over the months of January, February, and March, we're going to be rolling out our founding membership. So that you can come in as a founding member of the organization. You can also go to our website, wheelhouseaz.com, starting next week, and we're set up to start receiving donations to our nonprofit and also issue out our donation letters. We've had multiple requests from folks to be able to do that online, so we'll be putting that forward.
Thank you.
One other quick mention on the squares on either side, that's also your stadium seating, correct?
Correct. So here and here, these are very large bleacher setups. And then when we bought the facility in California, we ended up with 3 rinks and 3 sets of everything. So one of the bleacher sets will eventually be outside at the BMX track.
Nice.
Next to the RC off-road course and the RC drag strip, most likely.
Great.
And I would like to, just because I have the opportunity, thank your staff. We have worked really closely with initially Ryan, and as Gilbert's come on board, to work through this agreement. It's been a great experience working with the town, feeling welcomed by the town. You know, our emails are quick, and we're able to get things done. And it's just a fun experience being here and watching the community come together. Last night we were at the Kiwanis opening dinner, and it was great to be able to point out the window to people and say, it's right there. It's great. And in addition to that, this week we have confirmed 3 major hockey tournaments in 2022. We will be hosting state finals in June, and the Echo Tournament Series that's based out of the southeast part of the country is bringing a tournament in May and in November to us. And that will grow. That list of opportunities will grow dramatically as more and more organizations are aware of what we're doing.
How many teams would that bring to the area?
Echo would be roughly 50 teams, so 500 participants. And we just found out that the state hockey series is the largest it has been in over 25 years, with 43 teams just within the state of Arizona participating. They are expecting some additional teams to be coming from California. And so that'll be also in that 50 range. Those are all 3-day tournaments requiring overnight stays. And having gone with our team to many of those, you show up Thursday because you start playing Friday morning at 8. And you hope to be done by 5 or 6 on Sunday so you can drive home and go back to school the next day.
Councilman?
Charlie, I got some for Ryan. I'm going to ask you, I got a couple for you first, okay? Do you have any idea at all, just ballpark, to get this building up and running, ballpark, what's going to be the total cost to get you up and running?
Yep, so deferred maintenance, things that we're going to be jumping on, as well as construction. We've been really benefited by the fact that one of our local commercial contractors is working with us and is allowing his license to go into this project. He'll be managing it, but we also are hiring our own construction crew to work under him. So we're not having to fight every week for where subs are. We're anticipating in year 1 to put approximately $375,000 into the building. What I will tell you is yesterday we had a very productive discussion with one of our neighbors out there who is proposing to improve the road and pave a portion of our parking lot as a donation. So at least $375,000 into the building, and realizing too that we've already spent about $120,000, which is not incorporated in that number, and that's for equipment and material that we bought last year that is sitting in storage yards and shipping containers. So it'll be close to $500,000 by the end of year 1.
Okay, so just clarify, you said something in the parking lot. Is that the parking lot that you were going to be, it was going to be phased in over 3 years? They're going to take care of part of that right away then, or what?
Yeah, that would be something that we're aiming towards April. So part of our obligation is paving and part of it's chip seal.
Right.
And can't chip seal when it's freezing out.
Right.
And so we're trying to balance that out, but for us, having all of our ADA compliant parking done prior to our public opening and having a chunk of the parking lot completed is important. We want people to come up and be like, wow, not like, well, that looks half done. It's important that we send a good message to everybody, not just in the community, but our visitors.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Question for Ryan then, okay? Ryan, you answered my first question. I had wondered originally, I knew Charlie had shown interest originally in looking at the facility, but I didn't know we needed to put it out for bid or not, so you answered my first question, so thank you. My next question is the liability, and I know that's, we're looking at it's a boilerplate lease that we have. The town has deeper pockets. If anything ever happened out there, I look at the $2 million and the $1 million. Is that enough or not? I know that's what Charlie's required by minimum that we're requiring. Otherwise, if it goes beyond that, it comes back to the town. We also have our own liability, I assume, and then after that, it's our deep pockets. Is that something that should be revisited? Not necessarily with Charlie in the future, or not Charlie, but or anybody else in the future, that if we should increase those liability limits or not. I'm just asking. I don't have the answer.
Yes, we do actually have language in the agreement where if there's a need to up those limits, whether that's an agreement from the pool that is our insurer or some change in law, that we can go in and adjust those in negotiations with Charlie in good faith. So
okay. Then the other question I had goes back to the parking lot. Charlie answered part of it. Then, we got to phase in over 3 years. Usually, when the town owns it, It's, we want it all done initially. What was the reasoning? We just kind of looked at doing a phase-in over the 3 years.
It's primarily a cost issue. If you go out there now, when the county owned it, there is no parking lot.
Right.
So it's just an issue of cash flow and timing. The town doesn't have the resources budgeted to put in a parking lot. Charlie is busy raising money, so I
Right.
thought it was just to phase it in over 3 years, and after that, have a fully improved parking lot.
Okay, thank you very much. My last comment then, Mr. Mayor, I want everybody to understand, originally, I wasn't in favor of the purchase of this project. But since we have purchased it, it's now ours. So we gotta work and support this endeavor with Charlie, and the town. We gotta, at this point, as the saying goes, rally around the flagpole. Charlie, I wish you luck, and I wish you the best. And at this point, as the vote comes forward, I will support it tonight. But I just want everybody to know it's ours now, so we got to work and let's get it to be very successful. Thank you, Charlie.
Thank you very much. And if I could just tag on to your question about insurance, not only do we have our general liability policy, but then as part of the Amateur Athletic Union, we have an additional policy with them. So right off the bat, we have an additional $5 million of excess liability, and we have a $25 million aggregate cap. So we have really layered substantial insurance that comes along with it.
Thank you very much.
Mr. Mayor, at your discretion, I received a request from citizen Isabel Cerecides to speak on this item. Will you allow it?
Let's bring her up. And of course, this will just be on this item, ma'am. Do you hear me, ma'am? It'll just be on this item for this time. Welcome.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm curious as to what studies have been conducted to show that this is actually needed, the inline hockey and also the BMX track, because there's other items that are have been on the general plan, for example, the Agua Fria Park, and I'm just wondering what studies have been done that indicate that this is necessary.
Thank you, ma'am. Was that it?
No, that's not it. Do I get 3 minutes or?
Yes, your time is running.
Oh, okay, I didn't see it up there. The other thing I wanted to say is that I do believe that you are phasing in the parking lot, and I do think that the parking lot should be done all at once, because you do require other businesses to do it all at once, and it is a code issue, it's a safety issue. And it appears to me as though the taxpayer is going to take the fall on this if it is not successful. So what I'm proposing is that the contractor go to the bank, get a loan, and he takes the fall on it if this does not succeed. I also do not feel as though the contract did not state anything about the landscaping requirements. It said that we will determine it at another time. So there's a lot of ambiguity within the contract. So I am asking that you vote no on this agenda item. I also did talk to Ryan Judy about a request for proposal on this item, because I do think that there is favoritism on this contract. Nothing against Mr. Arnold, but it should be fair and competitive. And that was not done, from what I can tell. No one else was given the opportunity to run this site. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Anything else? Vice Mayor?
Real quick, Charlie, I forgot to ask you, how many employees?
We're looking at approximately 20 in the first year, and that will grow. It will a lot depend on the number of memberships. Obviously, the more programs that we offer, the more folks that we will employ. But yesterday, we extended some tentative employment opportunities to some local folks, and they have accepted those pending tonight. And I would just like to say that when all of this started with Yavapai County went out and asked the public is there anybody who's interested in doing something? It was put in the paper, it was promoted as the county wants to dispose of the property. And at that time, the town was the only proposed purchaser, and we were the only proposed user that had floated to the surface during that almost 7-month period of time.
Thank you. And I think that we had a lot of response on the mayor's Facebook, hundreds of those that were interested in participating in various sports. So with that, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to sign a lease agreement with SunWest HC Inc. for use of the new exhibition center in Prescott Valley by voice vote.
And if I could just clarify, that's a license agreement.
Did I say that? License agreement?
Lease.
Oh,
It's
license
I
agreement.
keep
I'm sorry.
having to tell.
License agreement.
Yeah.
He's corrected me several times, so don't feel bad.
I'll second it.
Clerk, call the vote, please.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Yes.
Mayor Palguda.
Yes.
Councilmember Packard.
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, sir. Item 9H, Agreement Custom Training Solutions Consulting Services, Consideration and Possible Action. Mr. Mundelo, welcome.
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. Proposal that's in front of you today is to hire Custom Training Solutions to work on a water outreach contract. So some of the purpose and need, we're listening to the community concerns on this. There are, I have a lifetime of listening to community concerns on this. As Councilmember Schumacher said, Thanksgiving's next week, and it reminded me of many times my family getting together for that event, and the dad and the uncles arguing about water, right? And that was a common occurrence, right? That just was what happened. Everybody talked about water. The issues were the same then as they are now, and that was a half a century ago, I hate to admit. So yeah, we have a broad amount of curiosity about water in our community. It's intrinsic in our town general plan. Water resources are. It's intrinsic in our strategic plan. And of course, water is front and center in how the Arizona Department of Water Resources manages the active management area and its resources through its management plans, which they've issued a second, a third, and a fourth management plan at this point, and a fifth is coming out soon. Our issues are complex, right? We know that water is ruled by hydrologic science, but it's governed by man. It's governed by state law. And adding to the complexity is the sense of, or the issue of private property ownership, right? People do have private property ownership of water resources. It's not just a public resource. We know our outreach efforts are lacking. I have constant demand for information about water. I'm a water resource guy. I'm not a professional in this field. I have brochures. I've had people come to me and ask, hey, can I have a brochure that explains this or that or the other thing? I have tabletops full of brochures. And the minute you hand it to someone, they say, well, that's not really my question. My question is. So it's, yeah, come on in, let's sit down. And we'll spend an hour or 2 hours going over the issues. Some of them involve more time than that. So we really need to maximize our capabilities here and bring on board a professional level group that can help us with water outreach efforts. So we wanted to find a group that was locally based and had an understanding of local issues. I've personally been witness to instances where big city public relations firms have come into our area with slick suits and shiny hair and have proceeded to tell folks about the Prescott AMA aquifer. Right? Instant credibility right there, right? No, we need a local firm. There's not a lot of local firms that have capacity. As a matter of fact, there are no local firms that have the capacity and the understanding of custom training solutions and their work team. They have the experience in water resource issues, and they brought forth what I think is a very unique proposal for approaching water outreach. And that is, number one, to first do your research. Right? We always think we know what, I might think I know what Councilmember Kinzinger needs to know, but it may not be what he wants to know, right? So I can't make that assumption. So let's do our research, and we'll bring them up to talk about that. So let's do our research. Let's build a plan based on that research. Let's build that outreach plan. What does outreach look like? What elements does it contain? The last thing I think of when I think of outreach is social media, because I've never in my life been on social media, or internet stuff, right? I'm just not that person. I'm not trained that way. So they are. So research, build your plan, implement your plan. If your research drives you a different way, maybe you don't need the amount of outreach, or the outreach takes a whole different direction. But you base it on research. So talk about some more specific elements in that proposal. With us here tonight is Ginger Johnson with Custom Training Solutions, Melody Reifsnyder with Sage Consulting is one of her team members. She's going to carry forward some of the additional information on the slides.
Welcome, ma'am.
Mayor and council. Okay, John. Down button. I got you right there. Oh, I'm good. Okay. We start with the research, garbage in, garbage out. You have to do your research. Research can take on a couple of different looks. It can be community research, which is really what this is. It could be market research. What kind of products does your community want? And it can also be things like reports and studies to understand your environment. So we're going after the community research, and the first step in that is a SWOT analysis, strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats, and we will do that with the town council and selected staff members. I'm assuming Gilbert and you guys will all get together and figure out who those people will be. We will use the SWOT analysis results to inform questions that we will ask of a group of community focus groups. We expect there to be 6 focus groups, about 8 people in each group. We want each group to be a diverse cross-section of the community. We want to make them as diverse as possible. Everybody should have a voice. That's how we see this. Ginger Johnson, who is really the community outreach specialist, will be the one who will manage the identification of the people who will work with the focus groups. Diane Masmanian, who's also on her team, is the research guru, and she will work with Ginger, and I will work with them to develop the actual questions. Diane recently retired after 20 years as a senior research analyst at Yavapai College. So she is the one who's going to be, and both Ginger and Diane live in Prescott Valley. The other 2 members, Don and I, we live in Prescott. So we're here. After we get through the focus groups and we use the information from the focus groups and the SWOT analysis to inform the broader community survey. And then we take the results of all of those and we use that to write the plan. Down. The planning will first involve coordination with town staff. This is a collaborative effort, not only among the businesses who are doing it, but with the town. We're not going to go back to our homes or our offices and do this and then bring it to you and say it's done. That's not how we do work. Everybody will be involved every step of the way. We will get advice from the people we work with. We will get their opinions. Products will be run by them before we distribute them to the public. So we want to make sure that this stays collaborative. We want to engage as many people as possible and be as transparent as possible as we go through this. Then we will write the plan. That's going to take some time. There's standard table of contents that include a plan in a plan like this, but the content will be dependent upon the research. What does the research tell us? We follow the research. I've been doing this for 30 years. Those 3 elements, research, planning, implementation. You do them every time. If you do them, almost always you succeed. If you skip one of those steps, you don't. So I use it every time. I used it with the coalition. I've used it with for people who don't know. The Upper Verde River Watershed Protection Coalition, this is the process we have used with them for 12 years. So we just keep doing this. If it's not broke, don't break it. It works. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to have graphic design and multimedia. We're going to have the development of the outreach materials. And those materials will be identified in what format they are through the research. But experience tells me we're going to end up for sure with a couple of things. We're going to end up with a frequently asked questions section. We have to have a glossary. One of the big gaps in information is people do not understand the terms. So when you talk about a water budget, what's a water budget? When you talk about effluent, when you talk about natural recharge versus artificial recharge, what do those things mean? So we have to have a glossary because you can't write a story or a book, an encyclopedia. So you're going to have a glossary of terms that let people understand what you're talking about. That's going to be very critical and probably, frankly, the most used part of this whole thing. If you had it in a book, it would be dog-eared. That's what people are going to refer to the most. Then we're going to redesign John's website for the water. It's fine, but it just needs a little help. It's okay. It just needs a little gussying up. And we want to establish the Speakers Bureau. And it's not a new idea. It's been done for decades. The college has one. A lot of groups have Speakers Bureaus. And I just sat through that fabulous Citizens Academy presentation. That is one of the places I would go to look first. There may be some people who've 28 classes of the citizen. That's a lot of people. So, and they obviously care about their community. So that would probably be one of the places I would start to identify people who want to participate in this whole thing. Then we're going to do a training module. The training module will be for staff and for council, and that's Ginger Custom Training Solutions. It kind of speaks for itself. That's Ginger's bailiwick, and she's also a trained facilitator and a certified mediator and conflict person. And I didn't think those 2 things would be really important, but it's water, so they may come in handy. So she would be the one that's taking the lead on that, and then we will obviously provide monthly progress reports on what we're doing. Okay, I just had to refresh my memory. So what we are proposing is after we get the plan done, we assist with 6 months of implementation and get it off the ground, make sure everything's moving, going along the way it's supposed to, and then a reassessment. Maybe you don't need us anymore, maybe you do, maybe it's on a limited basis, maybe it's on call, but that decision would be made after 6 months of implementation to see where we are. The plan, the distribution of the outreach materials will be in the plan. So we will help make sure that occurs and that everything gets out the way it's supposed to go. And the other thing that I see is when I see a project like this, I see a book. One of the challenges we face now is that you're dealing with everything on an as-needed basis. So you gotta have information going out in almost a piecemeal format. And not necessarily in a good order. It's like going to a book and reading the 10th chapter before you read the first. So you have a lot of confusion because some people don't have the basis they need to really understand what is going on. So what we want to do is tell the story in order, tell your water story. This is your water story. And it's, I want to write a magazine, Wild, Wild Water. It's a pretty interesting story. So that's kind of what we want to do. And we want to do it in the language that people will understand. And it is only based on fact and the law. There is no opinion here. This is only based on the facts. Nobody has an opinion. None of us have an opinion. We don't have a preconceived notion about the whole thing. We just want to communicate correct information to the public so that they have a better understanding of one of the issues that they are concerned about. I mean, John gave you the story of his family and water when he was in kindergarten. So I moved here 30 years ago, and when I moved here, I did some freelancing for The Sun, which was then a newspaper. And I covered water for, 2 or 3 years. And I have the clips in my garage in a box in a corner. I could go to that box and pull out a story I wrote on water, change the names and none of the words, and it would be exactly accurate today. We haven't really moved the needle on public knowledge. But we have a lot of people who don't understand it. I have a degree in geology, and half the time I don't understand it. It is complex. It's like an onion. You start peeling away and peeling away and peeling away, and you always have more. So that's what we're going to try and do. We're going to bring some logic and some plain language to an issue that is scientifically and legally complex. So that's the goal. The implementation includes help with continual website posting, social media and management. Now, social media, it is a very significant part of this proposal. Donna, working with Northern Arizona Social, who is very well respected, I think she moved here in 1995, is going to be managing that piece for us. And she knows what she's doing, and you cannot, like John, I've been around for a long time, I am not a social media guru. I do recognize its importance, and that it has to be part of any effort that you make. So we have engaged with Donna, and she is going to be handling that piece for us. I've talked to Heidi Foster, and we're going to all communicate and make this happen. Public relations, media relations will be part of this. Press release writing, document writing, story writing, all of that is going to be a part of the whole thing. Project management, and of course, monthly project updates. You don't know what I do without you. The worst part for me is finding the button to push. So we anticipate, if this is approved, a start date of December 1st. We recognize we're coming up on the holidays, so we would like to get that SWOT analysis done in December. If possible, scheduling is gonna, it's gonna matter. People have things they're gonna do, people are coming out of they've got their shots, or they might fly, they might be able to do things they couldn't do. So we'll have to play that by ear, but we're hoping to get that done in December. And during that time, Ginger will be working to identify the people who would participate in the focus groups and getting that all established so we can do those during the month of January. And then we'll take all of the information from the SWOT analysis and the focus groups, design a community survey, which we hope to be able to distribute in the mid-February. You have to leave it out there for about 30 days so that people have time to respond. And then it comes back, then we do all the analysis and all that kind of stuff. So and then that will inform the plan. And then we'll start on the planning process. Now, during the research process, we can do certain things like start getting the Speakers Bureau established, start working with John on some of the elements of his website and getting that designed. The final content, a lot of it will be dependent on research, but we can get it moving along. We can do some things concurrently. And then you got planning from March 31st to May 31st. That's when we should get it all together. And then have something to review. Implementation June 1st to November 30th, 22. And that's what I see. Pandemic related, I think we'll be able to get it all done. There is a potential that You know, some people are going to be leery about, people do virtual focus groups, and I just read that, and yeah, I'm not a fan. It really, it's still difficult for people to have real good conversations in a setting like that if you're like mine and John's age. Now, if you're like 19 and 20, sure. I mean, you can do it great, but I mean, I avoid Zoom, I avoid all of it because I don't like communicating that way. So I think that if we can, we should have them in person. I want to have them in the Crystal Room or some other room on property. There are different schools of thought with focus groups, and it depends on what you're doing. Some don't like to know, some people don't like them to know that they're their client. They want them done in secret. I'm not a fan in this case. One of the really benefits to community research is engaging the community. You want them a part of this from day one. You know, it's not just us doing this, it's everybody doing it together. You know, and I think that has to be the message. And I think if you have some kind of anonymous focus group, it doesn't accomplish that goal. So I think we really do want to engage the community from day one. I think it's very, very important. And just to give you an idea of our work style. So let's say we have a focus group, you're all sitting at your tables 6 feet apart. There's hand sanitizer, all of the good stuff. I want to give them your brochure on your sculpture garden. And I want them to know about the sculpture garden and the fact that you're going to sell enable all of the, and how fabulous it is. It's wonderful for families. You want them engaged. You want them to understand. You have look at all these presentations. As John said, you have a very warm community. So I think it's a really good idea to use these opportunities to engage them further. The other opportunity you have here now, and Ivan can help me with this one.
He's awake.
You sure? Okay. We can use this as an opportunity during the research phase to garner information on the general plan. But the general plan goes to an election. So there is zero opinion or promotion of that document. If there is information you need on the importance of certain things to the public, you can ask. But you have to be, you walk in a line, it's an election. So I think it would be his call as to whether you even want to mix the two. I mean, it's, you know, you're the lawyer.
And we'll talk.
Well. All right. So, but that is one other way you can do this. Since water is part of your general plan, you can use this opportunity to help inform that. My team, or our team, Ginger Johnson is going to be the contractor for this project, Custom Training Solutions. I think she's been here, 40 years. She came here when she was 2. Well, she actually did. She lived in Wickenburg. But anyway, never mind. She does community outreach, training. She's handled mediation. She's done grant writing. She's done research. I know right now for her pro bono baby, she is working on a strategic plan with Stepping Stones. So we're really glad to have her. She was formerly the director of corporate training at Yavapai College. So she has a pretty diverse background. Then you got me, Sage Consulting. I'm water resources, public relations, planning, branding, research, grant writing. My background, I have worked with the Upper Verde River Watershed Protection Coalition for 12 years. I have done work with the Groundwater Users Advisory Commission. Jeez, I wish people would, never mind. And so I've done a lot of local work in the water arena and public relations. My specialty really is communicating complex issues to the public. That's along the communication realm. That's what I do. We have Diane Mazmanian. She, I think, moved here in 1993. She recently retired from Yavapai College after 20 years. She's a market research specialist. She's also has done planning as well as branding for large companies in Chicago before she moved here. Donna Working, Northern Arizona Social. She is our social media specialist. She's really good. None of us, that is our big, the three of us, that is our big weak link. We recognize its importance, but we don't have those skills. So Donna comes in to take care of that. So that's the team.
Thank you, ma'am. Hey, John, at this point, thank you, ma'am. At this point, do something we normally don't do, but just like to hear some input from some people. Clerk, have you heard any people?
I do have Isabel Cericides again wanting
let's
to
bring
speak
her
on
back.
this item.
Do we have anyone else in the queue?
Mr. Olivas, you did not check the box, so I don't know if you want to speak on this item.
Isabel, you can come on up. But, sir, just, no. Let Isabel go first. Sir, are you going to want to speak on this item? Sir? Are you Mr. Olivas? Yes. Are you going to want to speak on this item, sir, or did you want to speak at the end? Okay. No, you're fine then, sir. So you're going to have to hold tight. No, sir. We're just talking about, we're going to be talking about this item right now, though, so. But you can also talk about that at the call of the public at the end if you'd like. No, sounds good. And again, ma'am, the 3 minutes applies.
Good evening. I'm Isabel Cerecedes. I'm a 13-year resident. And regarding this issue, I have some concerns, and I do hope that Ginger or Melody or someone will answer me. Because as you can tell, there hasn't been a lot of feedback. I asked earlier a question regarding the study on the hockey, and I did not get a response. So I hope I'm not up here just so you can listen to words. So please do answer my question if you can. I'm trying to find out what the end game is on this $123,000 of taxpayer money that's going to be spent. And then also I know you said that, I believe it was Melody that said that she has experience with the Upper Verde River, but I'm wondering what experience you actually have with the Prescott AMA in determining how much water Prescott Valley and the Prescott AMA actually has, because that's a very big concern here for residents. And that's it. So I do hope you can reply to me. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Sampson, I see you in the audience. Did you wish to speak during this time?
Sure.
I know you didn't fill out a form.
My name is Danny Sampson, owner of Little Dealer, Little Prices RV, as most of you know. We came up here 6 years ago and to build the dealership, and I've heard all kinds of rumors about the water. We have enough water to last 100 years if it didn't rain, or we're running out of water. I have no idea. I'm not educated in it, I'll admit it. But I've seen a lot of people wasting a lot of energy, negative energy, on the subject and are arguing about it, but I agree that we should do something where we can avoid future stress so we don't have those kind of arguments in the future.
No, thank you, sir. Appreciate your time. Is there anyone else that didn't fill out a form that wishes to speak on this item that's in the audience? That being said, Mr. Munderloh, will you please take the microphone? Council, we have any questions for Mr. Munderloh?
I would like to go ahead.
Councilwoman Hepperly.
So most of my questions going into this were going to be things like, well, can we talk about this? Can we cover this? Can we cover that? And now that I know about the swap process, my question is, do we really have to wait until December 1st? I don't know if there's ever been a council member more excited about exploring and researching water and what it means to our community and how we can inform people more than I am right now. So I really appreciate the presentation and just the effort that's going to go into this gathering to make sure that we are answering putting out all the information, but then putting out in a way that's answering people's specific questions. So I really appreciate that.
Thank you. Vice Mayor?
John, thank you for this, and thank you to the team. I'm very excited that it's a local team and they have understanding and experience already in our watershed and our AMA. I just want to point out that this item was budgeted, and so we're implementing the budget. Also, I was asked today about, the cooperation with the region on this, and as John alluded to, and I think Melanie did too, we already have the Upper Valley Coalition, which does the Water Smart program, and this information that we collect here will fold into that coalition because April is the new chair and John is the primary staff person of it. So I'm very excited about that. Additionally, I see our general plan consultant in the audience, and I'm very excited that this information can fold into the general plan, whatever isn't already in there. Public information is very important. I'd also like to reiterate that the reason why we're doing this is based on public demand. I've personally experienced, and I know April has too, John working for a day or two with a particular resident replying to emails with the same information. And so we need to find a way to more easily get this information across to our residents, particularly our new residents that come in and have the question. So again, this is super important. The other thing I would like to point out is how this information will fold into our Prescott AMA. Again, Arizona Department of Water Resources is the big daddy here, and they, I assume, will be a big participant in this or a commenter. And we already have our 4th plan, and we're working on our 5th, which will be out sometime in early to mid 2020. So the timing of this is so perfect. I'm just sorry we didn't do it sooner, and I'm almost as excited as Councilwoman Hepperly is up here because I've been asking for this for a while. I was so excited when we got it budgeted in June, and I'm glad that we're finally implementing this.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. And if I may add to your comment about information and cross-pollination with the broader issues in the Prescott Active Management Area with the groups such as the Upper Verde River Watershed Protection Coalition, which provides general outreach on water conservation, Prescott AMA issues throughout the area, as well as the Groundwater Users Advisory Council. And I will say that Ms. Rice-Snyder developed WaterSmart for the coalition. That's our branding outreach effort with the coalition. She works for the coalition on many of those outreach efforts. We know what each other are doing. I happen to be a governor-appointed member to the governor's, to the Groundwater Users Advisory Committee. And, I work constantly with the Arizona Department of Water Resources. So we keep in touch with each other on information, sharing information. The quality of the information is primarily dependent on the state agency or maybe some federal agencies that produce information. The information is vetted through those agencies so that we have an industry standard on quality control. I think the question from a member of the public was about, what is the knowledge base on Prescott Active Management Area water supplies? Well, our knowledge base is the Arizona Department of Water Resources. Our knowledge base are people who have worked in the industry for decades, have combined centuries of experience, and we rely on that interaction with those agencies and those experts for developing that information.
Councilwoman?
I just wanted to make the comment also that I have no problem in trusting the professionals that are hired to do their job, and you do it well. I've been in John Munderloh and Neil Wadsworth's offices quite a few times and asking questions. This water issue seems to have gotten so blown out of proportion, and it's used in a lot of political agendas trying to stir up controversy when there shouldn't be. And one of my feelings is I think we have bigger things to worry about because I know how well you are managing and maintaining and preparing for the future for our water system. So I appreciate all that you do. And in our strategic planning sessions, I brought up, and I know everybody was on board as well, and it was a majority vote with all of us, that we need to bring this back to the people in ways that they can understand, because it seems to be something that a person starts a rumor and then the rumor explodes. And it's gone way too far in the amount of angry people. And I think too, I always say that anger comes from unresolved expectations. And again, I'm going to say that because I know how hard the people before us have worked. I know Laura Lee Nye has served on so many water boards and commissions and has done so much for our town. And when we started out, we were under Shamrock Water. And from what I understand, from what I've learned, we were under Shamrock Water and it was mismanaged. So back then, in the day, when there was no water issue, no problem with being in a drought, it was still mismanaged. So it didn't matter if there was water, it still wasn't done properly. So thank you for this town, for all they have done, for going forward, making sure that we all have good, clean water. It is tested properly by governmental regulations. We have new tanks, we have new storage wells. We're all together on one system. And I have not seen that I've ever turned on my tap and not had water. So I trust the professionals that are doing their job. Now, if we need to make it so that the layman can understand what's in your brain, because sometimes when I've gone in, I've been overwhelmed with how much information you have, and that's what we're wanting to pick here, and that's what this is about. Let's make it so that everybody is understanding, that we're all on board, we're all in agreement, because the rumors are what is hurting our town right now with the water. Personally, I say, let's worry about fentanyl. That's a bigger problem. Well, water's not a problem, water's not an issue, but people are making it that way for political gain, I'm guessing. I'm not even sure why. I've been given really nasty emails, I'm sure other people have too, that they're not going to vote for me if I say yes tonight. So I think that's absolutely silly. This is a tool, another tool for us to use to get the correct information out there, to make it clarified, to do what people are asking us to do, which is manage their water. So I just want to say thank you for all your hard work, for all your years in the past, all the years you're going to give us ahead. I want to say thank you to Laura Lee, to all the other people that have donated their time, made things work, and I'm enjoying the benefits of that now. So I just wanted to say thank you for that.
Thank you, ma'am. Councilwoman Hepperly.
I'm sorry, I have one more thing. I just want to make it very clear. When Melody says that she's worked with the Upper Verde River Watershed Protection Coalition for the last 12 years, the Upper Verde River Watershed is the Prescott AMA and the Big Chino Subbasin. So when she says that she's working with the coalition, that may be the first thing on the list of that we need to address is how confusing it is when we say Upper Verde River. We are talking about this side of the mountain.
That is correct. And when we look at our the way we kind of bring it in, the Upper Verde Coalition managing issues in the Upper Verde watershed includes the Prescott Active Management Area, including where we are, and the Big Chino. Coming further down, we have the Groundwater Users Advisory Committee for the Prescott AMA. So that's just the AMA portion of it, and you know, so they work to deal with that aspect. But we have Prescott Valley, so we have our more defined area within that Prescott AMA aquifer. We have our issues to deal with, and everything we do goes back and forth with the broader context of the resource, which crosses jurisdictional boundaries.
John, I have a question. I'm sure there's a line between what a private organization can promote or put out for information versus what a public entity such as a town or a city can do. I'm sure the state tries to regulate it, or I'm guessing, I'm not a lawyer, but there's got to be some sort of laws that are in place that would prevent the town of Prescott Valley from painting a narrative or putting their opinion or their spin on something. Is that true?
Oh, that's right. It's a state code ARS 9-500.14
Just so we're clear, I wasn't expecting that number to come out.
Well,
so I
I've been
appreciate
trying to
that.
remember this.
John, you've got a job
because
in our
I-
office.
Pardon?
You've got a job in our office.
Can you?
I'm Stevens understudy. Right?
You're
So-
Stevens understudy. Can you maybe explain that to me a little
So,
bit? Then
so
how
what it
looks?
deals with is the expenditure of public resources, basically for the purpose of pushing an outcome in an election or a bond election or something of that sort. We're very careful about that, knowing that there are elections coming up, that we don't put public resources into something that has the taint of propaganda.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure that the citizens,
So
are.
that was my lay version of probably a really.
Ivan, can
And
you
just
add
to,
to
just
that?
to dovetail with what we were talking about in terms of the election for the general plan, the town is, of course, going to be putting a lot of information out about the general plan, but that statute limits our ability to use public resources to urge people one way or another on a vote. It's a fine line, but it is something that we are used to doing and that we've got to do. So of course, we're going to be putting all the information we can about water out to help with the general plan discussion as well. But we'll be being careful not to urge people one way or another.
And I think that helps with our community, and it helps to build confidence. I mean, there's no secret, and I know I only speak for 1 out of 7 up here, but I'm pretty confident that everyone that sits up here realizes that water is our most precious resource, and that we are going to do everything we can to preserve that for not only this year, next year, 10 years, but for generations to come, and that we're relying on the town to provide that information to our citizens and what that looks like. One way or the other, whatever it says, we go with, but we're not going to taint in regards to one side or the other, because some people may think that we want something to happen. And I just want to make sure it's clear that you are neutral when it comes to this, because otherwise it is a state law. We get fined. There's oversight. The governor, and the state will step in. I don't believe it's an attorney general's office that would step in, but I'm sure someone would oversee it and would basically slap us back.
As I pointed out earlier in a conversation earlier with you, there's one state agency with its own law division, and that's the Arizona Department of Water Resources.
Sure. So their job is to regulate the water, or regulate how towns and cities manage it. So, and this is just an informational project, and I appreciate that, John.
And I just wanted one more thing clarified. You will be involved in all of this, correct? You're going to oversee what information?
Yeah, that's right.
is-
Yeah, it's a full contact staff information, assistance with the technical side of it. Again, making sure that information is correctly vetted through professional standards, state agency, and so on.
Thank you.
And really, John, what I'm looking forward to, and this is what we've heard for a long time, is people want to have a seat at the table. They want to be able to explain their side, whether it's for that we have plenty of water or that we're running out and that we're in dire need. And those folks are going to have the opportunity to come forth, be at the table, and have their voice heard through the focus study groups, is what I'm understanding by, I don't know what the number was, but 6 different focus groups. These folks will be able to have that seat at the table and have that conversation, which I think people have been looking for a long time.
Thank you.
I have a question with reference to the ADWR as far as their promotions. The distinction between what we are planning to do here and what they do in their promotion of educating the public, is the focus, are the focus groups basically that difference that would be comparing the two?
A council member, I'm trying to understand the question, I guess. But the Arizona Department of Water Resources has very little to do with outreach. They produce technical information, but they don't bundle it for consumption. And that's always a missing component. How do you take, for instance, a recently released hydrologic model on the Prescott AMA and make that understandable? It's barely understandable for me. Okay, so they don't do outreach. They've occasionally helped with outreach or provided information for it. But we have to work with them. We have to bring that, any information, any of the technical information. The focus groups will be local people. They'll be our community people. And I'm certainly not the one, if Ginger wants to talk about the focus groups. But that is to bring together in the research what is the missing link in their understanding. What do they want to know? How do they want to know it? You know, what kind of data stream do they want coming into their head? Do they want it in a newspaper or off their phone? So I'm sorry if I'm struggling to answer that.
No, you're doing well. Yeah, I'm understanding what you're saying.
Do you want to discuss more about focus groups?
Mayor, Vice Mayor,
Welcome,
Council. Good evening. The idea of the focus groups is to be as broad as we can, as diversified as we can, get as many voices as we can, constructively. So those meetings will have a decorum, but everybody will have a voice. And then those voices will be transcribed into data, which then gets pushed forward in the report.
Very well said, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions?
Council, we have anything else for not only John, but?
I'd like to make a motion. Excuse me. I'd like to make a motion to approve that professional service agreement with Custom Training Solutions for consulting services in the amount of $123,070 by voice vote.
I'll second.
Clerk, please call the vote.
Councilmember Kinzinger.
Yes.
Councilmember Schumacher.
Yes.
Councilmember Packard.
Yes.
Mayor Plaguda.
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hunt.
Yes.
Councilmember Hepperly.
Yes.
Councilmember Dickinson.
Yes.
That passes unanimously, Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Item 10, comments from the public. Consideration and discussion of general unscheduled comments from the public. Those wishing to address the council need not request permission in advance. Any such remarks shall be addressed to the council as a whole and not to any member thereof. Such remarks shall be limited to 3 minutes unless additional time is granted by the mayor. At the conclusion of the unscheduled comments, individual members of the council may respond to the item addressed at the discretion of the mayor, or they may ask that the town manager to review the matter or ask that the matter be placed on a future agenda. Clerk?
Mr. Olivas.
It's what you've been waiting for, sir. Welcome.
My problem is flooding. I've been a resident here in Prescott Valley for 10 years. I've seen a lot of water go down that hill. I'm in the Superstition development. You have some beautiful homes over there, a lot of money. And this time, Mr. Davidson took a walk with me and saw the damage and the repairs that the city has done. The city is wasting money. They go repair, they don't put no ballast in it, the next spring, it's washed away. We're having the same problem doing repairs right now on Lakeshore Drive. You're losing the road there. Spend your money wisely. When you get into a big project, and as I heard earlier, there's a lot of pitfalls in there. This large project you guys just approved should have been put out to a town vote for the citizens to vote on and back you up. I didn't hear that. It didn't happen with the library. Millions of dollars are lost there, and it still leaks. The roof still leaks. The contractor and architect went belly up. We lost money there. Okay? Now I have a flooding problem. 4 residents are hammered by the flash flood we had here through July to now. The repairs done there, no good. He has seen the damages, he's seen what has to be done, but I've been told there's no money for it. Ouch, okay? My home's in danger. The guy that lives behind me, he has been flooded out many a times. The lady south of me, her house was flooded this time, 4 inches of water in her living room. The person living in front of me, his yard ended up in top of mine because the water comes down.
1 minute.
All I'm asking is for help on that. I'm working with Gilbert and see if we can come up with a solution on that. The property next to me is city-owned, and that's the one's causing the most problems. Okay? I'll get this write-up and send it to him. I'll have another write-up following this one, if I don't get no response on that. That will go elsewhere. Okay? Lots of luck on that project. I hope it goes well. Right now, I would sell that property and build residence on it. And get your money back out of it. Do not build it. There's a lot of pitfalls in there. I've been in construction and management for an awful long time. I did not like what I heard from those two people here. That lady was correct. And I thank you for your water project. You did great. I liked it. And this lady right here, oh, she's smart. Okay? I wish you a lot of luck on the water, on management, on the water, and informing the public. I could work with him, with you, and give you some ideas on that. I've talked to you before. I got no response, nothing. I got a bad ride from you. You went through a stop sign, fixed it on your phone. No, that wasn't funny, that was scary. Okay? Adjust yourself when you're working with the public and they're interfacing with you. Do not do that.
Thank you, sir.
Now, I'll work with this man right here, and I'll give him some ideas on that.
I know you will.
I've drawn some sketches on it. And that problem, the flooding, can be corrected.
Thank you, sir. I know if you're working with the town manager, he will definitely be responding back to you. I assure you of that.
Norm, I don't know, Norm's.
Well, you're talking to Norm's boss, so I'm sure you'll be getting a response back, sir, and we appreciate you coming out this
Good
evening.
response of him.
Thank you.
On your water situation there,
Sir,
I talked to you about your.
Sir, what we're going to have you do is come back next time if you would.
Next time.
Or if you would like to, you can schedule an appointment, sir, if you would like to discuss with either John Munderloh or any of the council members as well.
Oh, I'd like to talk to her.
Well, maybe she will be able to give you her card, and you can reach out to her, and I'm sure maybe there's room on a board for you to sit at as a focus group. Maybe we have a seat for you, sir. There you go. We already have staff will already have contact information. So, sir, thank you for coming out. Clerk?
No one else.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Well, come on up, Isabel.
sorry about that.
Welcome, ma'am. Again.
Thank you again. I just want to say a couple of things regarding what has happened today and tonight. First off, today I received an unsolicited email from one of you asking me to sign a petition for re-election, and I found that really odd because I don't give out my email address readily to people, and I don't like junk mail. The only reason this person had my email address was because I had direct communication for town business only. I think it is wrong for the town to either be selling or allowing a candidate up for re-election to be using the town business email addresses for personal campaign advantages. This is a disservice to those of us who make contact to express our views and for those who are also competing for these seats. So I hope that practice does stop. The other thing I want to mention is that just because an RFP or something for a contract is not required, it does not mean it's not a good business practice. I do believe that big contracts should be put out for bid, and it should be fair and equitable to everyone, and it's not a favorite buddy that's given contracts. The optics in the town, if you wonder why people think that there's a good old boy system, this is exactly why. So I hope you take that into consideration and take a look at your processes and maybe start doing things a little bit more fairly. That's it for tonight. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now, I'm actually going to respond because normally I don't respond, but I'm going to. Because, ma'am, you're flat out lying. Because you reached out to me via my personal email, and you say you didn't. And at some point, your half-truths have got to come to an end. Thank you for your time.
No, that's
Thank
not
you.
true.
We'll take a motion to
I
adjourn.
actually wrote to the town, and you responded
Make a
from your
motion to
private
adjourn.
email.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
That passes
Aye.
unanimously.
Have a good night.